Hey everyone, welcome to Warrior Studios right here in lovely Cleveland, Georgia. My name is Brian Buffington and we'll be talking about some great things today. We're talking about parents raising digital natives. What does that look like? What does it entail? And maybe some great tips from my parents out there. I do want to take this time to give some special thanks to our Spanish translator. He's in a room right across the hall over here. His name is Juan Gonzalez. And we also have Stephanie Smith, who is moderating all of our Facebook comments. So what I want you to do, if you're watching this live, I want you to write a comment, be thinking about maybe a good question you have. And what's really cool is even though I can't address every question, there's parents, there's other people who are like you, who maybe been through some things that you're going through, and you guys can actually work some things out and comment together. So, but I will be addressing some of those questions. Stephanie will be posting those questions here on my teleprompter. So, I also want to thank our sponsor, Kensington Electronics. Because of Kensington, at the end of the show, we have a special survey, and parents all across the land can do the survey, and there'll be a random drawing for 10 $50 Amazon gift cards. I know some of you are sad because you didn't win the $50. Or you were sad because you didn't win the $1 billion lotto. So this will be like your token prize, okay? So make sure you get in there and you do the survey at the end, okay? And also local schools get to use those stats to kind of see if parents are watching the broadcast in their communities, and lets me know, as someone who's providing the broadcast, if we need to be doing this again. Because last year it was awesome. This year is already awesome. I'm already making plans to do it again next year, but I just need to know. I need to know if you're watching it and if you enjoy the show. So let's get this show started, all right? So we're going to be covering these topics right here. We're going to be covering social media, which a lot of people are here because of that. Because like, my kid, he wants to be on social media. What kind of things are they doing on social media? So I want to kind of bring you up to par with what's out there on social media. We're going to be talking about cyberbullying, gaming, like what is Fortnite? I mean, what exactly is Fortnite? Sexting, I mean, I'll be talking about all those complicated things that's kind of icky and kind of like, whoa, Brian, naked pictures. Ew, I don't want to talk about naked pictures. I'll be doing that kind of stuff. Privacy, security, and I'll give you some tips and tricks. So to get this thing started, I want to show a video, and it's a video of a couple friends of mine, and they play in the hit show The Office, and we can learn a lot from this. Let's watch it and let's talk about it. I love that video clip because it explains something very well. And as you can see there from the video, you can see Michael Scott. He's driving that car. He's following technology blindly. He's just kind of doing whatever technology tells him to do. And his friend Dwight's like, hey man, don't go into the lake. He just does it anyway. And unfortunately, we have students, because they're kids and they don't quite see things the way we see them as adults. And they get technology and they just kind of trust it because they have trusting hearts and they follow technology, and sometimes they do end up drowning. Where's my camera at? There we go. They end up in the lake, car there, drowning, and like they need us. They need help. And so what we want to do is we want to teach kids not to just follow technology blindly. I'll give you an example. So I'm going to pull up this here on my screen. This is Braves pitcher Sean Newcomb. Let's see. There he is. So this happened this last summer, this previous summer. And he got in trouble because as a teenager, he had tweeted something out racist. He was tweeting things out that was negative against women, and it actually came back to haunt him. And he was 17 or 18 when he tweeted these things out, but it didn't really matter. It was enough. It caused a huge fuss. He had to go take special classes. He asked for forgiveness. People did forgive him, but as you can see, like when he was even a teenager, an older teenager, he was having issues like making the right decisions on Twitter. So this is a local thing right here in Georgia. Atlanta Braves pitcher Sean Newcomb was having some problems. So I love this quote right here. And this is the truth. Social media is the biggest game in the world, one that could be won or lost. And I like to think, when I talk to students about this, when I talk to parents about this, I want them to know that social media is not something like it's going away. And it's not exactly an evil just by itself. There's many good things that happen from social media, but we just don't see a lot of that. But what I want to teach students is, like, if you're on social media, what is the purpose? If you have a child and they're on social media, like, why are you on social media? Are you on social media to bring about good in the world? Are you on social media to give people compliments, to tell people, yo, hey, I like that dress. It's a nice dress. Or, hey man, that was a great football game. I just don't see a lot of that stuff on social media, but we as parents, we can be teaching our kids, what are the great things we can do with social media? We can raise awareness. We just had this hurricane come through our state, came through Florida. I saw lots of people using social media to bring about awareness about needs that we have. We can model as adults, have our children come up and see us and say, hey, you know what? We use social media for good. Yes, we still use it for dog and cat pictures. That's fine, but we don't use it always just for drama. You know what I mean? Let's talk about Instagram, because I know Instagram is probably one of the most popular apps among teens. Of course, there's Snapchat as well, and I'm going to be going in these live. So some parents, they may not even know what these things look like. All right? And don't forget to get those comments in, by the way. Stephanie's looking at those comments. She'll be getting them to me here soon. I'll be reading some of them. But Instagram, one of the most popular social media apps that students are using, you need to be thinking about a couple things. If you have a child and they're on Instagram, depending on their age, you're like, should it be private or public? All right, this is a big deal. Because if it's private, the parent, the child, they can say, you know what, it's just going to be the people that we choose who can watch the video, or who can look at your Instagram account. And that's important. As students get older, high school, and the parents have a good relationship, you're like, you know what? You understand the ramifications, the negatives of having a public account. You understand how dicey that can be and who can see it. Then yeah, maybe that's an option. But for younger students, it really needs to be a closed circuit type app and keep it as private as possible. Because this is the reason why you want to keep it private, right here. This is the reason. And these people exist. Like all around. I don't know where you live. I live in Northeast Georgia. I've lived in South Georgia. I've traveled across the land with my family. We have good times. But there's these people all around us. And you have to be aware. These guys right here. We call these the creepy guys. All right? And they do exist. And I gave you like a really good example of a creep. Now this guy right here, he creeps me out. Or you know what I mean? Hopefully he creeps you out. You need to be showing your children pictures of stuff like this. And be like, hey, you know what? You think you're talking. Now, don't forget, people can pretend to be other people on the internet. Like, it's super simple to pretend to be somebody else on the internet. Like this gentleman right here, this super creepy person. Get my cameras here. He could have actually really had a picture of some flattering, like, suave guy in a white jacket and Hawaiian shirt and said, you know what? I'm Brian Buffington and I want to be friends with you. But really, he's this creepy guy. All right? Super easy to pretend to be somebody or not. We got to teach our children that looks can be deceiving. So what I want to do right now is I want to pull up my phone and I'm going to show you how some of these apps work live, because I think some parents they don't know what the apps look like, period. So let's get in there. Let's get in there. It's kind of fun. So we're back here. Here we go. I'm getting notifications. My phone is blowing up. Hey, thanks for watching the show, guys. Thanks for watching the show. Big shout out to Stephanie over there moderating the comments. And if you have a question, be sure to ask Stephanie on the live feed here. She'll get the questions to me so I can answer some live. So I'm going to pull up Instagram. Let's start with Instagram. A couple things you need to know about Instagram is that it is a photo sharing app. It's very social. It's a lot of fun. But did you know that some people are kind of sneaky and they have two Instagram accounts? And one is called a Finsta. I don't know what the Spanish for Finsta is, but a Finsta, and that's kind of like a fake Instagram. So we can have an Instagram account where everything looks rosy and awesome, but then there's one maybe that my guardians, they have no idea about, and it's where I put all my sketchy stuff, all right? And hopefully we communicate with our children, let them know that, we don't need two accounts. Like we just need to be honest about the things that we're posting, things that we're saying online, and that we're trying to spread love around the world, right? Peace, that's right. So let's look at the app and give you a couple ideas. I want you to know this. If you have young children, they're using Instagram, you need to know there are some dangers involved. If you click the search symbol right here in Instagram, you can go up here to the search, and as you can see, searching for Miami Dolphins, because I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, just forgive me, okay? And we're not, we try hard, okay? Wish I had Marino back. But you can search for anything. When I say anything, I mean anything. All right, so if you're a middle school age child and you're curious about the opposite sex, you may type some things in here. All right, so back when I was in middle school, all they had was the National Geographic magazines. All right, so that's all that they had access to when I was in school, really. But now they have this, and they can search for anything. Okay, and so what they do is they just type something in a search. They could do by top or by a tag, like a hashtag. They could say, I want to find a pretty girl. Man, I can't even, I'm blowing up here. Pretty girl. And then all of a sudden you're going to have pretty girls. Now I'm not going to click on these because I don't know what's going to happen. And like this, things could get really bad really quick. So it lets you know that the search feature is not something you can really turn off for a student. So no, that's there. And then the setting, you want to keep your stuff on private. If you click the profile on the top right, you can go to your settings, and there's a setting that says, where's it at? It should be a button. Where are you? Privacy, account privacy and security. Keep that thing on lockdown for younger children. Don't let creepy guys look at it. So let's look at Snapchat. Snapchat is probably the most popular among high school students and middle school students as well. And Snapchat, like I said, it's not like evil by itself, but some people do evil things with it, and they're just misinformed. So here's Snapchat. Here's the studio. Hey, Steph, back there, give me a wave. Yay, she's back there. All right, and so I'm going to I'll do a reverse camera here. Let's see here. I'll take a good duck face picture so you guys see what Snapchat's all about, because Snapchat is fun. I'll do one of those cool filters. Let's see if I can figure it out here. Touch my face. Dude, it's going to get crazy. It's Halloween time. Here we go. Watch this. Ooh. See, why is this bad? It's not bad. It's just fun. But some people do bad things with them. Let me get that off. Let's take a regular picture and be like, yo, That's right. So that picture right there. And then you can send it to somebody. You can send to, I'll send it to my friend Carl. He's like, what? Wait. I messed it up. Anyways, on there, you guys are probably laughing. I'm like, what does this guy know? But on there, you can choose how long people get to see your snaps for. And it's misleading because some students, they believe that they send a snap to somebody, and that if they send an inappropriate snap, we're going to be talking about sexting here in a second, that it's going to go away for, they're going to send it for 2 seconds, and their special someone's going to see it for 2 seconds, and then it's gone. Well, nothing's really gone. Nothing's really gone in life when it comes to digital data. That stuff is stored somewhere. We'll talk more about that when we talk about sexting. So it's a problem. People are snapping and they're sending photos to one another and they think it's gone, but we know that people take screenshots and they save those pictures and they share them. Okay, they share them with one another. And the teenage brain just they can't process it, I mean, I've had I work with teenagers, I do these school talks, and I mean, I talk with them from my heart, and so I can just tell from their eyes, they're just kind of clueless about this whole situation. They're like, well, what's the big deal about sending a nude photo? And we have to talk about that. So that's coming up. That's coming up later. Let me give you, let's talk about one more thing, one more app, and I'll get off the phone. The Photo Vault. So on my phone, let's see, this camera right here we go. The Photo Vault's right there by the Weather Channel on the bottom. Now, not everything is as it seems on a child's phone. Now, everything looks good, and you're like, man, my child's clean cut. I mean, they do everything they're supposed to do, but for whatever reason, they want to hide something from somebody. And so they download an app like Photo Vault. All right, so Photo Vault's right here, and if you have to put your secret passcode in. And by the way, this Photo Vault could be in a folder like 40 deep. Like, you may not even know it's there. Parents have to be involved. They have to know what's on the child's phone, especially younger children. We've got to be involved. So you put your secret passcode in, and what does Brian have on here? I think there's a funny video of me wearing this great white coat, which I forgot I didn't buy. It was like a TJ Maxx. Look at that, man. Oh, I'll get out of that. That thing is like making our screen crazy. But there you go. I'm out of that. But as you can imagine, it's usually when people are hiding things from their parents or their guardians, and they're using an app like this, it's usually not a man with a furry coat. It's something that they don't want their parents or guardians to see. So they do make apps that hide things. They make calculators that really is just you type in a code and the calculator turns into a vault. You get access to the vault and you can see images that you don't want anybody else to see. All right, so note this, I did Instagram, we did Snapchat, and we also did like a vault type app with the Photo Vault. So be aware, know about those things. Now, people ask me all the time, they're like, Brian, I need to know the secret to life. No, they don't ask me that. But they do ask me, they're like, Brian, I need to know the app that will like save my children from distress. And I'm like, you know what? they make some things out there. And y'all know this. Everybody's looking for it, right? We want this one thing that's going to solve all the issues with our children on digital devices. There's no one thing that's going to do that. And as a parent, it's really we're that thing. As a parent, as a guardian, I have kids. I have to be heavily involved in what they're doing, not just technology, but everyday life. But sometimes people just give this device, and they'll just give it to a child and say, here's your phone. Just let me know if you need anything with it. Hope you like it. Call me. And it's out of it's really good intentions. The parent, I touched my mic, I'm sorry. The parent really, a lot of times just says, I want my child to be able to call me because they play sports. I want them to be able to call me. But there's this underlying pressure. There is a lot of pressure because a cell phone, especially with a data package, has tons of temptations that may not be appropriate for the level, age, student, or child that you have. This is one app. I'm going to share one app. This is the app. I did my research. Parents are asking for it. This app had the highest reviews. I'm talking on the iTunes store and Android store, 4.8 stars out of 5. And for a parent app to help them with their children's digital devices, that's huge because usually the ratings are they're not that good. So let's check it out. It's this app right here. It's called RPact. And the name, they call this Parental Control and Kid Tracker, and actually has the ability to do some really neat things. It actually has the ability to, you can put a geofence, you can make a map around a certain area that, if your child ever got out of that area based on GPS, it would send you a little message. Say, you know what? Johnny is now out of the area. And you're like, what? Johnny is out of the area, and you call him, and he's like, hey, Mom, I was just going to Dairy Queen. I forgot to tell you. And now you're all good. So it does have some things like that. It does have the ability to block apps, certain apps that you want students to have. But again, the best communication, the best tool is going to be a parent and not one of these things. But this is like a little buddy of yours. This can help you. And it has a free account, but the free account has very limited things you can do with it. You really want to pay this a monthly thing, and I can't remember the cost. Might have been a few bucks a month. That gives you a little more control. So let's move on to that. I want to talk about some good things with education. So I mainly work with teachers and I work with students, and I work with them and I show them how to use innovative practices in the classroom. How to use technology and be prepared for the future, because the future is going to look much different than it did for me and for you as a parent. And so I came up with this because what I do is that when I look around at people using technology, it breaks my heart, because technology, there's a lot of really cool digital technology, digital devices that students can be using, parents can be using, and they could be doing so much more with them, but they just don't think about maybe what the possibilities are. And what I see is mainly consumption. And I see this. I just see scrolling. And I scroll. I'm not like a saint or anything. I scroll, and I'm just kind of like a time sucker. You're in the office or something. Been there, done that. But you know what? Those who primarily consume will be the ones who are consumed by advancements in technology. Those who can create, think outside the box, make things with technology will have a leg up. And I really want those skills for students. I know I have teachers watching this, I have parents watching this. Hey, if a child wants to make a YouTube channel and be a creator of content, and you're like, I don't even know about that, sounds sketchy. Hey, at least they're making something. They're not just consuming and sucking up things and being fed into. So if they want to do something like, hey, join in the fun, get with them, kind of learn that process too. And we'll talk more about that because I want parents to get involved with new technology. So I do want to show a video. We're going to watch a video right here, and it's really about hamburgers and robots. It's kind of crazy, but the reason I'm showing this is because I remember when I was in school, there was always that teacher, or there was a parent, and they said, you know what, Brian? I don't know if they said it to me, but they said it to some other folks. If you don't get your life together, you're going to be flipping burgers for the rest of your life. Well, I hate to tell you, unfortunately, flipping burgers the rest of your life, that option is probably not even going to be around for kids because that option is being taken by technology. So let's watch this video together.
So Creator's a new type of restaurant, one that has one of the most advanced culinary instruments. So this baby back there, it makes literally the freshest burger ever. We slice tomatoes, pickles, onions, the bun to order, but my favorite part actually grinds the meat to order, which means we make an amazing burger, and it's $6.
This robot isn't what I had imagined. Instead of a mechanical arm flipping burgers as we've seen in the past, Creator has built a 14-foot all-in-one burger machine that uses 350 sensors and 20 computers. It takes 5 minutes to make a burger start to finish. And with 2 machines, the Creator team can make 130 burgers per hour here at their first location.
Wow, that's crazy. So a hamburger robot, do you see what it did? Like it makes everything fresh. So as the hamburger comes through, it cuts a tomato, it cuts an onion, like right there. Even the beef, I think the beef is pattied like right there, right when someone places an order. You know what? Humans, we can't really. I mean, that's gonna be tough for a restaurant to do, especially keep the price low. So you can see where robots have a big hand in our future, and we definitely got to be giving our students skills that they can be successful, and they can be the ones that help program the robots, tell the robots what to do, and be thinking and doing things that people aren't even thinking about yet, all right? So they need to be the ones who are innovating at a high level. So let's talk about gaming, all right? Let's talk about gaming. So gaming's huge, and my gaming looked a little bit different than perhaps the kids who are gaming now. So y'all tell me, what's the difference here? So y'all get with Stephanie. I want you to tell me, comment on there, what is the difference between this kind of gaming, what gaming is like now? See what you guys come up with. I'll give you 5 seconds of wait time. How is this different? All right, here we go. I'll tell you. The difference is that these devices right here were not connected to the internet. You were lucky to get a buddy, maybe 2 buddies, and you could get on your PlayStation and you could play together like that, but there was no networking. And these games were limited in what they could do. They were a lot of fun, but there was no security issue. I mean, you weren't talking to creepy people across the world. So things have changed drastically because kids are now doing this right here. They're doing Fortnite, Roblox, and I played Fortnite, and we're going to show a video here in a second. In a second. And before we show the video of Fortnite, so some parents are like, what is Fortnite? My kid keeps talking about it. You know, Fortnite is a multiplayer online game, and it's kind of like a Hunger Games thing where you drop a bunch of people and they all have to survive. And it is violent. It doesn't show blood or things like that. But I want you to think like even when maybe you're in your 30s or 40s, you grew up playing games, you were playing violent games, very similar to some of those. But again, it's networked. So you're playing against real people, and there is communication involved. So students can turn on the ability to hear each other and hear people that they're playing with. That can be turned off, but as any good parent knows that just because you, we got a question here, so I'll get that question 1 second. Leave that up for me. As any good parent knows, just because you tell a child to turn something off, you say this is going to keep you safe, there's nothing to guarantee that will always stay off. So you have to be continually to communicate with your children. So we do have a question. Okay, do we still have now on White TV, do we still have a chance at the gift cards? Need this info. My son is in middle school. Hey, yeah, you still have a chance for the gift cards. That's going to be at the end. There'll be a survey. Don't go anywhere. There'll be a survey at the very end. The link will pop up. I'll pop it up here. You guys do the survey, and I'll be taking 10 $50 Amazon gift cards. And it'll be a randomizer that'll pick those, okay? And then before we go to the Fortnite video, Roblox. So this is huge, especially with younger students. Roblox is a little more scary because Roblox is open. So people develop even mini games inside of Roblox, and there's actually been stories stories that have been in the news where someone had made a world in Roblox. It's kind of like Minecraft, but with more openness, and people can make their own worlds and different characters and things. But that a child was on Roblox and had entered someone else's world, and they were doing certain types of sexual acts with this avatar, okay? And even though it's avatars, it's still very disturbing. It can be very detrimental to a child, even in a digital world like that. So very scary. If you're using Roblox with children, you need to be aware of what they're doing, what worlds they're in, and really just have a handle on what that technology is about. So I'm going to show you it's about 15, 30 seconds of me playing Fortnite. We're going to play the video right now. Somebody's shooting me. I don't see them. All right. Oh my goodness. Get away from me. You bad person. Oh, see, there you go. So no blood. They're just hacking on me. And I guess I could get up and do something. Maybe I can, but they just took my wood. They stole my wood. She made a ladder and jumped on a house. What is going on? So as you can see, yeah, that's a 36-year-old man playing Fortnite. I mean, I know like you can play Fortnite any age is okay. It's kind of, people like it. It's fun. Of course, I was horrible at it. I had some buddies. I posted and they're like, Brian, you're not playing it right. But I played it the best way I could, and you can see I got beat, and it is pretty violent. Like I said, there's no blood, but there's that network ability where people are talking on the headsets or they're talking on the phone, whatever device the students are on, and you may not want your child talking to people you don't know, talking to strangers. So be aware that there's an option to turn that off. So maybe you and your child have a relationship that you know, it's, hey, you can play this, but you really need to turn this off. We don't be talking to people that we don't know. So let's talk about another topic, and this is the notes that I grew up with right here. So this was fun. So if you were lucky enough, if you were a boy in middle school, a girl may give you one of these, and it was exciting. It made your heart feel good, and you're like, oh yeah, I got a girl writing me a note. And they even had the, like little thing, like you did the colors. I can't remember exactly how it worked. I don't know if I can make one now. But this is how we pass notes. And but unfortunately, people don't do this anymore. And I wish they would. I wish they'd bring this back because they're doing something a little more harmful, and there's some bigger consequences. Because now we're taking photos, digital photography, without clothing. So we have in America, I think we probably coined this phrase sexting, and it's sending nude photos by electronic means. And so we do have students doing this as young as elementary, and I hate to even talk about it, but it is the truth. As young as like 4th grade, I've heard schools I've worked with, they're like, Brian, I had this happen. Someone sent a picture, and they didn't even know what they were doing, but they saw maybe a peer do it, and they thought it was a good idea. And then we do have students in middle schools, high schools doing this, they're sending it. And I want us to be sensitive about this, okay? Because students are very curious about their sexuality, but we gotta tell them, this is not the right way to be curious about sexualities by taking pictures and sending by digital means, because we know this stuff can stay around forever, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So this is what people think. So when people take photos, and they take nude photos, generally a teenager, of course, they're thinking like love and hormones and all that. They're not really thinking about the consequences, but this is really what happens. They think they take a picture, and it magically, and some adults may think this too, it magically goes through the air, and it goes to somebody's phone. And that there's nothing in between. But the problem is that it actually uploads to a server. Like somebody has to hold this picture for a moment. This video or this picture that someone sent, it actually has to go like Snapchat, even Apple, any messaging service. The message goes straight to a server, and it happens like bam, like super quick. So you don't think about it. But it goes to a server, and then it goes to the person's phone. And I hate to say, but some of you guys already know this, that we have people who have been able to hack large corporations, retrieving lots of data. I'm going to show you this in a second. And I'm afraid that one day someone's going to hack one of these large servers from one of these companies and expose things that we don't want to expose, that children never thought that their photos would ever be exposed. And, just for instance, like Snapchat. Snapchat, that's a go-to place where people like to send nude photos to one another. And that right there would be a gold mine for somebody who is mischievous and wants to wreck some people's lives or hold them for ransom. So just talk to your children. Let them know that a picture online stays forever. Really, it does. We got to be careful of things that we post online. So here's some big hacks that you should be aware of. It happened this last year. Facebook was all over the news. Facebook, 50 million users. Accounts breached. Make sure you have good passwords. We're going to talk about that in a second. Under Armour's MyFitnessPal app, I had this app before. It tracks your running, GPS. Its data was stolen. So don't think that just because you're on a certain app, you're like, things are good. Like, Brian, I don't do sketchy stuff. Know that things can be hacked, and we need to be aware. Make sure you have good passwords. I got an idea for you. I want you to try a passphrase. So this is for adults and children. So, you've always been taught, come up with like a passcode like this one in the middle here. There's like this T1G3, this crazy password. And I got this from, I think LSU was trying to help their student body come up with good passwords. Well, it's hard to remember that. And then everyone's like, oh man, I forgot my password. You know who you are. There's folks who forget their passwords. You're everywhere. And right here, On the bottom, you can see that someone made a passphrase. Aren't tigers awesome? And number 1 in the nation, ? You know why this password is super awesome? Is because it uses all kinds of characters. It uses an apostrophe, it uses a numerical 1, a question mark, and a capital letter, and it's about forever amount characters long. And this right here would be more difficult to hack than that one right there, that crazy one in the middle, and it's more easy to remember. Now, not every website or app lets you do passphrases like that, but I know that Google does, Gmail, I think Facebook does as well. So make sure your passwords are good, and don't be too cautious. All right, we need to be cautious. We need to be cautious about our passwords so nobody can hack into our accounts. Here's another way to keep your account safe: is with two-factor authentication. You may have seen this before, but you never turned it on. So on Facebook, I know for a fact, Instagram, Gmail, you can have a special button on there that when you set up your password on Facebook or Instagram, you can say, I want to turn on two-step authentication. And what that does is if someone types in your password, if you type in your password, now it's kind of a hassle to some, but I like it. If you type in your password from another computer, it goes, we don't recognize you. We're going to text you a code to make sure it's actually you. So that means if someone stole your account, they would have to have your phone on them as well, and to have the second layer of authentication. So make sure you turn that on. Try it out on one of your devices, and it's just another layer of security to keep your things safe. Now I want to talk just briefly about cyberbullying. And there's been evil in our world since the beginning of time. And I do these presentations with students. We talk about cyberbullying and how and try to convince people to be nice and not be bullies. But unfortunately, we have folks that's just kind of like how life is going to be for some folks. And so I want to take a different angle. I want you to kind of think with me here for a second here. I do think people can change, and I want to help people change. But what if? Because usually this doesn't happen in a silo, this doesn't happen alone. Someone sees this. What if we taught our children, our students, that when you see something, kind of like in New York on the subway, if you see something, say something. If you see someone who is traumatizing, bullying somebody else online, that you have an obligation to do something. And if you're like, Brian, I can't do anything, I'm small, I'm not a popular kid, I can't do it. You can do something, you could tell somebody. And I love what we're about to watch a video right here. And it's Michael J. Fox, which is one of my favorite actors because I love Back to the Future. But I really feel is that if we as parents who have responsible children who don't bully, we tell them to stand up for those who are being bullied, we can really knock this out and really help the world, help a lot of people who are being bullied, because there are those who are vulnerable, and we have those who are bullies, and we have a lot of people in the middle who just aren't really doing anything. And as parents, we can teach them to be the ones who stand up. And I don't mean you're going to go fight bullies or anything. I'm talking about just be the one that says, hey, you know what? I saw that. I care about you. And you know what? I don't like it. Just saying that they're not alone. They're not by themselves, because we don't want to see children who are depressed or even hurting themselves. So we're going to watch this Michael J. Fox video. I don't know about you, but that's a heart-touching video. I love the fact that Michael J. Fox, even in his deep state of Parkinson's, was just talking truth right there, and that is, I agree with him. I say, we can have, instead of this maybe a solely anti-bullying message, we have this let's stand up message. Let's be not just be a upstander. I think that was the organization he was with, people who stand up for one another, and we could do that together. And I do want to give you some tips. We're closing out, and so I want you to be thinking about some questions. We'll have some Q&A at the very end of today's session. Here's some tips for parents. I got three. These right here, they can do a lot for you. One is just to communicate. I'm talking about those awkward, crazy conversations that you may not want to have. No parent really wants to talk about nude photos with their daughter or their son, especially a grandparent. That's just got to be really weird. Now, I know we have grandparents watching this. I salute you, grandparents. You're raising grandchildren in a crazy world that, you were just not part of, really. And some of you are really taking the bull by the horns, and you're doing the best you can. And we really got to communicate with our children. They need to know the expectations that we have for them. And we got to create guidelines. Number 2, create guidelines, procedures. I know parents who do all kinds of different things, procedures for their kids and digital devices. They'll say, you know what, at a certain time of the night, we're going to take the devices up because it's bedtime. And you know what, I'll give you 30 at the house. I'll give you 30 minutes. You can do some things that I approve of. You have young kids. If you have young kids, elementary, maybe early middle school age, you really need to be all up in their grill. As I would say in the past, all up in their Kool-Aid. All right, I'm bringing that back. You need to be in your children's lives. You need to be nosy. I think there's something happened where parents, they thought it wasn't cool to be nosy anymore. Well, unfortunately, it's not about being cool. We have to be there, even if it's not cool. We have to do those things that are difficult, have those difficult conversations, because we want our children to be successful and not really be snared by all this awful stuff out there that's on social media, that's on digital devices. We want to be there for our children and teach them things that maybe nobody else is teaching them. All right? Teach them things that maybe, teachers are busy. Teachers aren't the ones who are going to be raising our children. It's us as parents who have to tell them, instill the values that we have, because we all have different values as parents. We all believe different things, but we do want our children to know they're loved and to be safe online and not to be hurtful to other people. The last one I love, this is my last tip right here, is it is so important, and this is fun. You can see a big difference here, is to play along and stay current. What I mean is, do I really want to play Fortnite? Not really. Do I want to play Minecraft? No. Because I enjoy other things. I'm on technology all the time. I'm like, I'd rather kind of be outside because I'm on machines all day. But to a child, to a son, to a daughter, it's like, you know what? I'm going to go learn how to play Fortnite. I'm going to play Minecraft with you on our network. I'll never forget my family. I think my wife, myself, my daughter, my son, we were in Minecraft together on our network, building the same world. And it was the craziest thing. I couldn't build anything to save my life, but it didn't really matter. It was just like, you know what? I'm giving it a whirl. My children respect that, and your children respect that too. And I was going to be honest. This is not easy to do. If you're just right now, you're like, Brian, I had an epiphany. I want to be more involved in my child's life, my child's digital life. And they're older. They're 16, 17, 18. The older they get, the more difficult these conversations are. But it's not too late. It's not too late. You can have those conversations. But for those with younger children, man, you have a great opportunity. Get started right now. Be in their digital lives. Do the crazy things. Learn the apps. Learn how they work. See what's popular out there and kind of teach them how to use these things correctly. Show them the good in social media. And that's a big, huge deal. Because if we don't, as parents, if we don't learn new technologies, we kind of stay stagnant with our skill level when it comes to phones or computers, our brain kind of turns to mush a little bit, and we have a hard time relating with the younger generation or even with our children in the future. And I don't want that. When I get older, I want to make sure I can still communicate with my children, my grandchildren. So this is a funny little clip. We're going to close with this clip, and we're going to take some questions, and then we're going to do our survey. But this little clip right here shows exactly what happens when you take a break for a while and you're not involved with technology. Here you go. I love that video because hopefully you're watching this, you're like, Brian, that's me. I mean, I show this video, I work with teachers sometimes, and they're like, Brian, that's me. I can't ever remember my password. And if you've ever taken a break, even for 1 year, with learning new things at your job or even with your phone, you're like, man, I am lost. I am way off, and my kids have surpassed me. So it's so important to stay in tune. Hey, grab a grandchild, grab a kid, say, hey, teach me how to use Instagram, all right? My grandparents, I'll never forget, they started learning how to use Instagram, Facebook, and it was like the best way I could communicate with them. And they got to see pictures of my kids. And it's so vital that we keep fresh as adults, as parents, so we can better relate to our children and our grandchildren. So what I want to do is I'm going to pull up this slide right here. We're going to do our survey in a second. But I want to take some questions, okay? I want to take some questions, and I'll put the survey link up. So don't forget the survey link. I want you to fill it out for me. Make sure you're sharing this with people too, because let's get this thing crazy. Let's blow it up so people can learn really what are some best tips to help raise their digital natives. But I'm giving away those 10 Amazon gift cards, 10 $50 Amazon gift cards, compliments of Kensington Electronics. So stay tuned. The show's almost over. But let's take some questions. Let's see if we were able to get any questions up here on the air. I think we got one coming up pretty soon. You might see me do a special jig or dance. I can do the sprinkler. I think we're good. I think we have one. I think there's a bunch in there because my phone's blowing up with notifications. But I really appreciate you guys watching the show live today. I think we had a few technical glitches, issues. Hey, those kind of things happen. That's kind of like what this whole thing is about. This is Pioneer RESA, Brian Buffington, Warrior TV, White County High. We're trying to do something crazy and new. Sometimes glitches do happen, but I'm very proud of everybody who was on the set with us today and made this show possible. All right, what do you think? Oh, here we go. I think I saw one. Oh, it faded on me. Let's see if I can see. Here it comes. Here's the question. I love this. Thank you, Stephanie. What is the best way to keep the lines of communication open with my child regarding devices? I think the best way is just to be honest. Be honest about how you use technology, not be hypocritical. So, for instance, like if it's dinner time, you're like, you know what? We're not going to have phones at the dinner table, but then you break it out, and it's like, what? Mom breaks it out, Dad breaks it out, and then it's like, well, I'm not talking to you. You're a hypocrite when it comes to technology. So let's just be honest about the good and bad of technology. Open communication. I think if you came to your student, you came to your child and said, you know what? I want to show you something cool in technology that I learned, and I think this is a great way to use technology. I think that would really go a long way. That they'd be like, you know what? I really appreciate that. That my mom, my dad is taking a chance, learning something new for me. So we had another question come up on the screen. Do you think there is an appropriate age to allow kids to sign up for Facebook, Instagram, etc.? Hey, I'm not taking the fall for this one. I'll give you some good advice for that one. You guys ready? It's up to the parents. It really is up to the parents about what is the appropriate age. I know some people who are younger. Most of these social media sites are supposed to be 13 or older. But I know some students who are very mature. Their parents are heavily involved in what they do. They have business, there's students who are models, and they have an Instagram account where they promote their skills, and they're getting bookings through modeling, through Instagram. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. And I'm like, that's not a bad idea. But as long as the parent and the student are together on that, but there is no one-stop shop age for appropriateness for any of these for any of these social media questions. Okay, so 13. Your child may need to be 18. Really, I don't know how mature your child is. So don't fall for the trap that what, all my friends have it, I need it. That's a terrible indicator of maturity. All right, the parent knows best, and it's not the friends who have the technology. Their parents may be doing something different. You do what's best for your family, for your child, for your morals. Hey, that is all the questions for the day. Here's the survey link. This is what you guys have been waiting for. Let's pull it up. Actually, you haven't been waiting for it. You guys have been wanting to hear from me and all the great things I've been talking about. But this link right here, if you go to that link, you will put in your information. I think ask for your name, email, and I'll email the winner. So I'm going to be randomizing the results. I'm going to randomize the results probably tomorrow or Tuesday, and I'll email the 10 winners and let them know that they won, and I will mail them an Amazon gift card. Okay, so let's keep that up for a little bit, and we'll post that as well on the Facebook page, so people can do the survey, even if this transmission messed up or something. I want you guys to have the link to do the surveys, and your local school systems really appreciate it. So I want to give one last big thanks I'll leave that back up. I want to give one big last thanks to Kensington Electronics for sponsoring the Amazon gift cards, getting people excited about the event. I also want to thank Warrior TV, huge, this wonderful, beautiful studio right here in White County High. I want to thank White County Board of Ed, superintendent who made it possible for us to be here, Charles DeWalt, who heads up this lovely program. And I got Juan Gonzalez. He did a wonderful job. I know he did because he's the greatest. He's the greatest. I've got Stephanie Smith back there who's moderating Facebook comments, who's helping people out. I appreciate her. And my name is Brian Buffington at Pioneer RESA. which is an awesome place for teachers to get the skills they need to be prepared for the future and today. So I really appreciate everybody out there, and you'll have the most awesome, blessed night. See you guys. Bye.